Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Words of Wisdom. There's a huge difference between a mistake and a pattern. One of the most important lessons you'll ever learn in life is knowing the difference between someone who hurts you by making a mistake and someone who hurts you because it's become a pattern. A mistake is something that happens once. It's a poor decision, a lapse in judgment, a moment someone genuinely regrets. We all make mistakes because none of us are perfect. Every single person will say the wrong thing, make a bad decision, or let someone down at some point in life. What matters most is what happens afterward. If someone takes responsibility, sincerely apologizes, accepts accountability without making excuses, and makes an honest effort to change, forgiveness can be one of the most powerful gifts you can give, not just to them, but to yourself. Forgiveness allows you to let go of bitterness and move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. It frees your heart from resentment and allows healing to begin. But a pattern is something completely different. A pattern is when the same hurt keeps happening over and over again. The same lies, broken promises, disrespect, manipulation, excuses. Every time they tell you it'll never happen again, but somehow it always does. At some point, it stops being a mistake and it starts becoming a choice. When someone repeatedly shows you the same behavior despite knowing how much it hurts you, they're telling you something without even using words. They're showing you what they're willing to change and what they're not. One of the biggest mistakes we make is believing someone's words more than their actions. Words can be comforting, promises can sound sincere, tears can seem convincing, but consistent actions are the true measure of a person's character. Real change doesn't happen because someone says they've changed. Real change is visible in the choices they make day after day. The danger is that many people confuse repeated behavior with repeated mistakes. They keep giving second chances that turn into 10th chances. They keep hoping this time will be different, even though nothing actually changes except the calendar. Hope is beautiful, but hope without boundaries can become self-destruction. Some people don't change because they don't think they have to. As long as there are no real consequences for their behavior, they often have little motivation to do anything differently. That's why healthy boundaries are so important. Boundaries are not punishments. They are expressions of self-respect. They teach others how you expect to be treated, and they remind you that your peace has value. If you don't recognize the difference between mistakes and patterns, it can affect every part of your life. You may stay in relationships that slowly drain your confidence or remain loyal to people who are never loyal to you. You begin accepting disrespect as something normal and lose your peace trying to fix people who have no intention of fixing themselves. You might spend years waiting for someone to become the person they keep promising they'll be, instead of accepting who they consistently show themselves to be. And over time, your self-esteem starts to erode. You begin questioning your own judgment and stop trusting your instincts because you've spent so long making excuses for someone else's behavior. Eventually, you may even convince yourself that you're asking for too much, when all you've ever wanted was honesty, respect, kindness, and consistency. One of the hardest truths to accept is that love alone cannot change someone who refuses to change themselves. You can encourage people, you can support them, you can pray for them, but you cannot do their growing for them, and you cannot heal someone who isn't willing to face the truth about their own behavior. The saddest part is that while you're waiting for someone to become who they keep promising they'll be, life keeps moving forward. Every day spent trapped in unhealthy patterns is a day you're not fully living the life you deserve. Remember this. People don't just tell you who they are, they show you. Listen to their actions more than their words, because actions do speak louder than words. Actions reveal character, words reveal intention, and sometimes those two things don't match. Pay attention to how you consistently feel around someone. Do you feel respected, valued, safe, and appreciated? Or do you constantly feel anxious, confused, disappointed, or emotionally exhausted? Your emotions often recognize unhealthy patterns before your mind is ready to admit them. Don't ignore your intuition simply because you're hoping for a different outcome. This doesn't mean people can't change. They absolutely can. People grow, people mature, people learn from their mistakes every day. But real change is not announced. It is demonstrated consistently over time. It requires humility, accountability, effort, and a willingness to become better, even when no one is watching. An apology without changed behavior is simply another chapter in the same story. You are not being cruel by setting boundaries. You are not being selfish by protecting your peace. You are not giving up on someone by refusing to accept the same hurt over and over again. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop confusing someone's potential with their reality. Fall in love with who they are today, not who you hope they'll become someday. Love people, forgive people, pray for people if that's what your heart calls to do. But don't ignore repeated patterns that continue to rob you of your happiness, your confidence, your self-worth, and your peace of mind. Remember, the people you allow closest to you have a powerful influence on the direction of your life. The relationships you keep can either help you grow into the best version of yourself or slowly pull you away from the life you were meant to live. Choose wisely. Life is too precious to spend trapped in cycles that never change. Learn to forgive honest mistakes, but have the wisdom to walk away from destructive patterns, because the quality of your future often depends on recognizing the difference. When you honor your worth, protect your peace, and surround yourself with people whose actions match their words, you create space for healthier relationships, greater joy, and a life built on trust instead of disappointment. If you liked this, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. By sharing this video, you could help someone recognize a pattern they've been overlooking, find the strength to set healthy boundaries, or finally choose the peace they deserve. Your share could be the encouragement someone needs today. I love you, and God bless.